I
Where's
understand
Blunt?
completely. I appreciate
I don't know
that.
if you guys.
Yeah.
Blunt also had to head out. That's why I sent him a pigeon mail, and I got back a no from the pigeon.
Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started then. We're already a bit over
Yeah.
time. So with that being said, I'm going to be calling this court back into session to deliver the verdict on Kyle Pred's authority conduct review. I will be honest, these things are not done very commonly. So the way that these verdicts are done, there's not a lot to go off of for structure. So a lot of this is going to be, it might not be delivered in a typical stand that you might expect. So the first thing I just wanted to say was that there has been very clearly a lot of emotions that have been tied up in this manner. It's very clear that Kyle feels very strongly about the conduct of the marshals, and it's very clear that the marshals feel strongly in turn about the way that he is behaving. I am not going to make value judgments on the emotions that one might be particularly feeling or the way that they express those emotions. Rather, I want to focus in on the lawful actions that are being taken and the facts contained therein. So I want to start off by addressing some of the statements that that Pred made under oath. There were a few times where there were some very direct conflictions. I want to quote you, Pred. You stated that they were scum bootlickers that you would never work with, and you're proud of that fact. And then later in your closing, you agreed to work with them and provide statements. I understand that the emotions are swinging very high, and it is a very difficult situation to deal with, to understand and deal with people who are pushing their legal authority on you. But we need to remember to maintain our cool and to not be making such decisive statements like that, especially when we're the head of an organization. So to start off with, these are the findings of this authority conduct review. Law enforcement officers are required to provide their statements to ongoing criminal investigations, and that does extend to you, Pred, even as the chief of police. So I need you to cooperate with the marshals and give them the statements like you said you would do. Okay, that is the first finding. Secondly, it's also very clear that there is some confusion. There is some conflict of whether or not the marshals either have the authority to suspend officers, and if so, how that would be done. The law is very clear, strictly, that marshals do have the authority to suspend officers with probable cause, which they have demonstrated here. Obviously, Kyle Pred has a vested interest in protecting his officers and making sure that this process is done in a fair and thorough manner. And so I find it pertinent to recommend and to ensure that this process is done in a more streamlined, professional, and transparently communicated way. We'll talk about that more in a little bit.
Thank fucking God.
But I want to speak to you directly here, very candidly. You hold a very high position. You are the chief of police of the largest police department in the city. You are responsible for hundreds of people, like you said, and they look up to you and they mirror the actions that you take. I think it's very important that you carry yourself with some dignity, but also convinced that people treat you with the respect that you're owed. So I want to make it clear to the state marshals that whenever there are interactions between the offices, it is expected that the government agencies remain professional and they refrain from making legal threats that they're not going to follow through on. That is to say, it is not appropriate to be threatening to press criminal charges if it's not something that is seriously being considered.
Oh my God, this is perfect timing.
Around, especially for a position that is that high.
Oh man.
The final point of this verdict is I want to reassert that the state marshals do have oversight authority over local law enforcement agencies. They are capable of testing actions that you are disputing them being able to do.
Homie's about to find out because he's about to get
as such.
criminal charges
So with that said, the ruling of this court
right after this court case.
Writing a writ of mandamus, demanding that you write your statements, Pred, do your paperwork. It's important and it's part of the SOPs. It's something that has been stressed to law enforcement for a very long time. I will not be issuing a censure as I believe this verdict is good enough on that front. And for the final action, I will be issuing a sanction in the form of an arbitration hearing with myself presiding. I will requiring the state marshals and local law enforcement to develop some SOPs regarding suspensions that are authorized under state legislation, with the goal of making the environment more professional and streamlined for both sides.
I actually like that a lot.
If these SOPs already exist, then these need to be communicated to local high command and to myself to assure that this final act has been met. That is the ruling of this court. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
That's just to tell him to do his
Chief
homework.
Justice.
All right.
I wonder if we'll actually be able to work together.
I will schedule this arbitration hearing between you two. It will probably be between the director and the sheriff and the chief, and we'll get together at a time and we'll work this out, okay?
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you again.
All right.
I will get a formalized version of this verdict put on the docket for those who are not here and those who are not present to read it. But that's all. You guys have any questions about the verdict? You're free to approach.
I don't have any questions. I pretty much got everything I wanted.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it then. Thank you all very much for coming.
Hard time.
Hi, Pride. Hi, Pride. You ever think Kyle's ever going to realize what the things that he says means?
No, I don't think he understands the words he says at the time.
Because he said he had no problems, then immediately followed with, I got what I wanted.
Yeah, well.
Oh my God. Wait, you play Tarkov too?
Oh, yeah. Doing some daily start.
Okay.
No, I swear to God, if you don't get me invited in, I'm going to kill you.
I'm fucking doing. Do you want to go do the fucking Christmas shit with me? I've been doing it during the entire court case earlier.
Yeah, I'll do
the ACR.
In the court case?
Yeah, I didn't.
I don't get to do paper. I got to do paperwork. You get to play video games.
I had a 1v1 a buzzard earlier.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I had other things, you know, that I can't mention.
What?
We got to talk.
Okay. Oh, do you want to go?
Yeah. Let's go.
This will give me a segue into asking someone for food so I don't fall asleep like an old man.
Okay.
Hey, don't fuck with me.
And this is that segue. Can I have some food?
Yeah.
I don't have anything, Dan.
I gotta go back to the courthouse.
That was a great ruling. I do think a procedure is needed because
I'll just eat these donuts. Surely they have sustenance, right?
Playing World of Warcraft. Maybe.
I think confusion is what leads to. Stand by.
Oh, okay.
Yo, Ray! Why'd you go off duty already?
Right.
I'm in enough trouble.
Give me 1 sec.
Take your time.
Okay, she didn't go off duty. All right. All right. Now that we kind of can speak a little bit openly, you know, now that the whole thing is over and done with, I think the biggest challenge that we hit with this particular thing is exactly the conclusion that it sounds like, you know, you came to, is we obtain, let's say, probable cause, right? The immediate action that may or may not need to be taken. How do you sort of envision the process? Let me put it that way, you know, instead
of you like doing the suspension.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, when I wrote the legislation, the idea was that, you know, you would just show up and be like, hey, you're suspended pending investigation.
Yeah.
Just like, you know, but the idea was that the high command of the local law enforcement agencies would be working with you. You know, they'd be cooperating with the process. And, you know, obviously, the way it's written is you guys have the authority to you know, suspend their operations and be very disruptive if it was ever necessary, right? But I think that it's important.
Surely that won't happen this week.
Well, hopefully it doesn't. The idea, though, is that we are cooperating to the extent that, to the best of our ability as professionals, right? And I think that the process basically needs to remain with that in mind. So it's not just like you guys storming in with them completely unaware of what's going on and blindsiding them. It should more so be a collaborative effort. Now, obviously, if there's something that could preclude that from happening,
Angel,
that's
if I may.
Yeah, of course.
Hello, Mr. Knight. Justice Alan Crane. I'll be serving as Angel's Rage translator.
Yeah.
So to summarize the previous, meandering myriad thoughts that emerged from her mouth hole, what she meant to say was, listen, Knight, we both know how this is going to rule out. We both know that I had to make the ruling more about making feel good and getting a warm glass of milk and a pat on the head more than anything else because egos and cowpred, and you know how that shit goes. But we do have this issue of, the police in the local zones there being the feelings police more than the thinking and doing in police. So it is true you could have done it the whole time the way you did. It is true you had that right, but they're baby back bitches who are softer than, Lassie's ass, so we gotta just deal with them the way we deal with them. But let's now get down to brass tacks, and I'll, chuck you a little bit because you were acting like a child in the courtroom and such. So I gotta at least tell you that it's not all one-sided. So don't think you got away with one. But now let's get out of business. And
Wait, you heard my mimicry?
Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah, I did that shit.
I heard everything.
Yeah,
But I was just translating for Angel.
Yeah, he's just translating. That was very well said, actually. I think so.
Yeah, I think it's important to highlight the following, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna stoop to a level. I mean, I'm goddamn Brian Knight. I'm the biggest goddamn shitlord in the city. However, let this not be mistaken. This has been 3 months of Ruth getting beaten down.
I've seen it firsthand, Brian. I know very well.
Yes.
Shit, I've been dealing with Kyle Brad for fucking 10 years. Get over it.
I've been counseled her on some of this stuff as well.
And that's exactly what she did. So I don't think it's accurate to say there's, a one-sided or whatever, right? When the dog bites, you got to bite back. However, the steps that were taken, and this wasn't highlighted in the case because it's outside the scope of the ACR. Did she come with him with some energy? Who goddamn knows? There's no recording, right? Which I quite frankly think is necessary in these kind of cases because it's a protection for both ends of the spectrum, right? What truly occurred cannot be outlined in a statement. Only a recording can really highlight that.
Sure.
So that's kind of the first thing. So in absence of a recording, you now get into a situation with the unreliability of statements, right? People will
be, sitting around so long.
Yep. So having approached this, the advice I gave to Ruth was verbalize and provide all the evidence, which I believe she did. I think was seen by the court, and subsequently a attempt to remedy this situation themselves. And that's kind of where Assassin handled it, and very similar to how we did it with Bjorn, is here's the evidence we have. We would like you to go and proceed and look into these sort of matters. And if you're unable to do so, then we'll go ahead and handle it. Now, what happened in that room is even unknown to me, but a procedure by which we can still afford local law enforcement to resolve the issues themselves is probably not a bad idea, unless that's something SASM handles exclusively, right? It's a balance of like, do we want the departments to resolve it themselves and give them that leeway? Or, we got PC, let's throw them into cuffs and send them to jail and let them appeal, right? So...
Well, from my perspective, the process doesn't need to preclude you. I think that the legislation is pretty clear that you guys have the authority, and this is even something you're designated and tasked with.
Yeah.
It's more so just that when you guys approach these situations, you already know how Kyle Pratt is going to react to something like that. And when things are formalized, it's a lot more easy for the process to play out, basically, right? When there's a piece of paper that says, for example, just spitballing, the marshals will approach High Command and inform them of the actions they want to take, give High Command time to review the paperwork, and then, process the suspension themselves. But ultimately, the authority still does reside with you guys to do it. And if they don't want to do the suspension, and you need to override them, that could be potentially a cause for concern, and as well. But that could also give you some more backing or some more ammunition if there's potential corruption that you're investigating, right? So
Yeah, 100%.
Hypothetical situation, you have some. Let's say you approach Pred in the situation, and there's a standardized procedure that he has to follow, and he refuses to do it, doesn't want to suspend them. But you 100% have PC, they need to be suspended. He's never seen the PC. He's refused to do it, and it's documented and acknowledged. Well, it's so much more stronger for you now because the process was attempted. They refused to go along with it, and now you have even more authority for yours. Do you see what I'm saying?
I do. The elephant in the room is evidence suggesting the chief of police was involved in the cover-up.
Yeah, that is a pretty big elephant. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So,
I understand.
you know,
I'm
let it not be mistaken.
I'm not overseeing a criminal trial here, okay?
Yeah. No. That's why I'm only referencing past incidents that are not going to fall into the scope of the future trials, right?
Right.
So I think that's effectively was the balancing act, right? Is
yeah.
I mean, listen, the Bill Mays situation's already been sorted with the one with Ruby and whatnot. But that was a case where LSPD High Command. Now, keep in mind, we were still infant, so we did not have the resources to pursue this fully. I did do it effectively myself. But we, when I approached Pred, and it was actually referenced in this case, we already knew that he and High Command had spoken and greenlit Bill Mays alongside Maxwell to press criminal charges on Ruby York while he was a acting prosecutor for a case which the justices filed with the marshals.
Sorry, pause. I ain't been around. Why is that funny? Give me the context.
It's funny because it's ridiculous. So I'll give you
ridiculous as in it would never
absurd.
happen, or what?
Oh no, it did happen. Yeah. So let me give you I'll give you the
okay.
The historicity.
You missed a lot.
Yeah. You're in for a lot. Okay. We got notified by the justices that there was a court case involving Bill Mays and Ruby York. And in that particular court case, there was a allegation. I think it was like, who was it? It was two members of the Besties who were shot down, uninvolved with a criminal matter. So they were like repairing their vehicle by a shootout, and someone unloaded on them. That shootout scene was still occurring, or they were like, the law enforcement was like at the hospital and, getting medical for those individuals. So Ruby York and Oxby responded to the complainants. I think it was like Michael Manx and one other individual. They took their statements. They went and collected evidence. That evidence then went into a command report. When Michael Manx went to go file the docket posting for the civil matter, the report with not just these statements, but also the shell casings was not provided, and they would not produce it. This is where the conversation around justices having access to command reports came into play, which is why there's currently the brackets internal communications on all the command reports. Remember when you came to me and you said, like, why is there tags now or whatever? I thought you assumed. Do you remember that conversation a while back, Angel?
I don't think I do.
Okay. So one day, all the command reports had in brackets internal communications.
Oh, yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
This
So when you
yeah.
brought it up to me, I didn't know what you meant by tags. I was very confused. I didn't realize that when you said tag, you probably meant that in brackets, it now says internal communications.
Right.
Now, the reason that came up is because Faulkner, as a consequence of this court case, had to be like, okay, these lawyers are requesting reports that don't exist. Wait a minute, there's a command report right here with the statements and the evidence in it. So as a consequence of that, that's how they found out about it. Then they told, they forced the PD to produce it. They then produced that evidence with these shell casings, etc. However, they self-redacted the statements of law enforcement, including the statements like, hey, we just decided to shoot them and blah, blah, blah. So and this is all on the docket. It was all redacted out. The ruling ended, and that's when the marshals were notified again. And the statement was there was evidence tampering. I think I'd have to look up the report that the 2 or 3 justices brought up. As a consequence of them filing a report with the marshals to look into both Bill Mays and Ruby York for self-redacting and attempting to hide the shell casings and the statements that would have made the LSPD look bad. Before I was even able to engage, Bill Mays filed a separate report with SASM saying that the justices were illegally looking at their internal communications. So LSPD High Command put the internal tags on, claiming that Command Plus reports cannot be read. While we began to investigate, Bill Mays, by instruction of LSPD High Command, tried to fire Ruby York. I called Ruby for a statement, learned her and Oxby were about to get criminal charges pressed by her co-prosecutor on the very same case he was overseeing. I had to go in there, put on a recording, and tell the 3 of them they are not to interfere with this active investigation. Let alone the fact I'm not going to sit here while, one of them, unilaterally ends up, effectively tampering with said investigation. Next day, we go approach LSPD High Command, whom we now have knowledge has had these conversations, put on a recording, and we are stonewalled. Bill Mays is subsequently fired. And, that investigation sizzles out. So, so some of the actions that Ruth took is a learnings lesson from that past incident to effectively outline what do you do in the event there is thin blue line cover-up of police misconduct. So
you don't get in the mud because all you end up is covering shit.
Yeah.
The whole sequence of events was really crazy. I completely forgot how insane that situation was.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna realize I forgot what we were talking about, Brian.
I
was so engrossed in the retelling.
The elephant in the room, right?
Well, right, yeah, the elephant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, here's a suspension. Yeah. We need a statement, but wait, they apparently don't know anything. And you know what I mean? And
yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of inherently clear to anyone what games are being played here. And I'm going to refrain from commenting on it as I know it's an ongoing matter. But regardless, I'm going to be putting together the writ and requiring him to input his statements. I want you to kind of think about like how a formal process might look, Brian, like how it could work to be fair for both parties involved, because at the end of the day, you guys have the legal authority to suspend officers, right? And that's not in question here. But we also are trying to do it in a way that's fair too. For the receiving end, the LEO High Command,
Do we have belief that Ruth misstepped in the way she handled herself?
Do I think that?
Yeah, like I think the way she went about it is probably what I'd like to see. I think there should be a formal audit trail of here is a summary of the situation. Here is the action taking place. And after its submission, it should be vocalized in a face-to-face conversation.
Sure.
Now,
I mean, truthfully, when you really think about it, the process that she went through is pretty much what is requested here.
Yeah.
It's just that Pred refused to engage with the process under his own testimony. So,
yeah.
I got one thought, which is, you know how you got all them rights where, you got to have reasonable articulable suspicion of you committing a crime and blah, 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 and, all that to be detained and give ID and all that kind of stuff. Well, You know that phrase, you ain't wrong, you're just an asshole?
Yeah.
Yeah, most of those situations could be just, you know, both people agreeing that sometimes they're both could be right, but they both could be assholes. And I think that, honestly, I don't think there is anything that says day one in this world that Ruth has to be nice, courteous, kind, whatever. But the truth is, it might, you know, give a better success rate, avoid having to go to this. Because, yeah, you can come to court and we'll tell you you're right. And you can sanction them. And it's like, let's continue the thought, right? Where do we end? Do we just arrest them all when does it go nuclear? Do we have like a Cold War? Like, well, yeah. I'd rather we just both accept that, you know, giving an affirmative hard line should always be inferior to us working together. But that's just me.
What
I
did
think
you just say?
that's the idea here in general is
Yeah.
that it's preferential to do things a specific way rather than forcing it. But yeah, ultimately, we can't undermine the authority that is written in legislation.
Yeah, I meant more the process rather than the demeanor.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I think the process is pretty much exactly what I would expect. Where
Okay.
you approach,
All right.
and you know go over the evidence with them. You show exactly what you have and why it's being requested, and give them a chance to review it and go over it, and then come to a determination on their own if they like it or not. But the reality is that it's kind of important that refusal is understood to be like pretty much not an option here. Like I don't really know how to put that nicely. Like if the marshals are approaching a local law enforcement with a statement of probable cause and demanding a suspension, it's essentially a formally polite way of telling them this is going to happen and giving them the option to do it themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's effectively it.
Right.
It's like shadow boxing, right? Hey, here's why it's going to occur. Please do it. We don't want to do these other things. It takes up time.
Yeah, exactly. Because
All right.
ultimately, if they refuse to do it, it's still going to happen. But now they're also going to have to deal with the consequences of refusing to do so. So,
is it so? In relation to all this, is this something that should be formalized? So
the process.
Yeah. So let me kind of. I think it is innately obvious that law enforcement must provide statements, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you enter into the realm of the current existing roads violation, which is a issue in and of itself, which I know is going to be resolved, but still, the refusal, regardless, even outside of this situation, right, might be exonerating, or it may be valuable in order to. Is that ACs being stolen? Is that what that
I think
alarm
so?
is?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a jewelry store. People are setting up outside. Okay.
What does it say about society that you hear that and you don't think fire? The first thing you think is jewelry store or AC unit being robbed.
Well, the fire safety in the city is actually really remarkable. I can't. I think the last time I really saw a fire, except for the time
I'm
that
just saying, I was thinking,
the
shit,
DCSO.
is that something burning now? Is stove on? Damn.
I'm going to put it plainly.
Yeah,
Does
please do.
legislation need to state, hey, if you are requested to provide a report, you must provide it, otherwise, blah. Right?
No.
Which sounds like I want to go dunk my head in water, but that is kind of the basis of this ACR, right? And
the legislation, one of the initiatives that is being requested by the state is to simplify legislation, and I'm not interested in overly complicating things by adding in more stuff. That's why we have SOPs that guide us, because these are essentially expectations, whether they be set by a court or common law jurisprudence, whether it be just the proper way to do things. That's how it's done, right? So it's not necessarily hard coded into our legislation, but it's still an expectation that will be upheld by court.
Madam Chief Justice.
Yeah.
Anger translator here. I'm going to sum up this last little part for you here, Brian.
Sure.
So when it comes to the outcome of this, it can't be Mama DOJ that pats one person on the butt or both of you at the same time and resolves the situation. So, no, this kind of thing is not formally needed to be written. It probably, is more of a vague assertion that we're using it as a vehicle for you to demonstrate you can play nicely in the schoolyard together without us having to get involved again. And whatever you want to go through as is a sort of microcosm for the overall thing, that's your own choice, right? Because if you want to take the Ruth approach and you want to get into another ego battle, Kyle Brett, be our guest. We'll be here to settle at the end, but not advisable.
But she wasn't doing an
outcome.
ego battle, just to be
Of course,
clear.
I'm not. I'm again. If so, what's a coulda? And we now get to the position where, okay, how do we negotiate this thing with Pred? How do we get something written up? Well, what do we know about Pred? He wants to win. He don't even care if he knows why he won. He just wants to win.
No.
Give him something to win.
Let's pause here real quick. Are law enforcement required to provide a report?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that derived through legislation?
No, but it's our expectation of law enforcement.
Right. It turns into a dereliction of duty.
I would argue so. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my
Or like
interpretation.
negligence, et cetera, et cetera.
So
the-
here's something
yeah.
that I wanted to kind of like maybe shift gears to kind of give you an idea of why I'm saying this. One of the clauses the state had me put into the Chief Justice powers was essentially a clause that allows me to interpret and dictate the law. And what that means is my interpretations of expectations and the legislation as a whole effectively become a form of common law, right? So when it comes to this dereliction of duty, when it comes to the expectations we set into law enforcement, it's not strictly necessary for me to define this in the legislation, because that expectation is held by myself, which extends to the Department of Justice. Essentially, do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I guess what I'm pointing for here, and for clarity, is I'm thinking well beyond this case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is a lot of this ACR is a consequence of, I don't need to do this, I won't do it, and therefore ACR me, right? And hence why I'm bringing up this point is I'm not suggesting it needs to be in legislation, but this is the actual root cause, right? Is the inherent belief by a law enforcement, regardless of your chief or you're a law enforcement officer, that can effectively prevent a investigation from moving forward, as if a member of law enforcement has, critical information or exonerating information or nothing by not providing it, you are inherently stopping that investigation from moving forward. So if tomorrow there's a, someone witnesses someone triggering a bomb and it is a law enforcement officer and, we're like, okay, we need that statement. And they're like, nah, skip. Where is it in legislation? You're now stuck effectively ACRing someone while they're it's a fucking situation. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's kind of where I'm trying to get to the why I brought up the does this need to be in legislation? I'm all for simplifying it, but at the same time, I'm kind of highlighting that piece.
I mean, if people continue to refuse multiple times, then there will be consequences for that, right? Ultimately,
Could we have a bench trial ACR?
I mean, basically, that's the idea
would
with
be
them.
sick.
They're supposed to be quick, right? That's why as soon as I was sworn in, I've got this moving as quick as possible instead of letting it rot.
That would absolutely resolve it, because this took like 2 weeks, right? And if, let's say, tomorrow this circumstance were to happen, we're okay, we got this guy who's a fucking brainlet, and we need this in order to, pursue an investigation, whatever it is, because it's not about them, it's about every other facet actor that's involved. Being able to resolve that very quickly would
I will say this,
really
Brian.
fast.
One thing that is important to remember is that we don't necessarily need everything to go to trial or come to a hearing. There are sometimes cases where you put information up on the docket. It's clear as day what the outcome is going to be, and not necessarily everyone is interested in fighting it, right? So let's say in your hypothetical situation, you have an officer that's refusing to put a statement. You can, put up your ACR or your written request to have court enforce and then you can request that it be summary judgments. And if it really is cut and dry, it probably won't even come to a hearing. A writ can be secured and that action can be forced.
Yep, I agree.
I don't necessarily think everything needs to turn into.
I actually think
hearing.
this should have been a writ, if I'm going to be honest. Which
well, you guys could have requested that.
Yeah, we could have. Look, listen, Tarkov's been keeping me up late, so when I said just put up a writ of mandamus, I think there's only a few of us that knew what that meant. So
I gotcha. Well, listen, if you were requesting,
did you just
writs,
invoke judicial skip?
What, me?
No, him.
Oh,
me?
He's insinuating that he called the skip card on the DOJ. Believe that?
Wait, what do you mean?
You're writ. You just wanted to skip all the talk and go right to the outcome. You son of a bitch.
But that's what we're both agreeing to. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, if it's like really like cut and
If
dry,
it's like, hey, we need you to do this thing, why
right?
wouldn't it be a writ?
I told you I'm the anger translator. I'm just giving it to you more bluntly.
It's nice having someone that can speak things bluntly.
Yeah, you guys don't have responsibility for saying it.
Crane, do you think we shouldn't be writing writs and ACRing like something as simple as we need a report?
No, I think this whole thing was a farce and a show and was a waste of everybody's time and money, but I got paid, so I ain't saying shit.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're all in agreement. But yeah, so basically that's one of the directives going forward, Brian. We're reformatting and restructuring a lot of how we approach these cases with the instructions that I've been giving to the judges and how they handle motions on the docket and how they handle these things. The ultimate goal is for things to move more efficiently and for there to be less hemming and hawing and feeling like their hands are tied because they might upset somebody when the outcome is clear, right? So,
in the interest of a hypothetical,
guys, I think I'm having a stroke. Oh, never mind. Never mind.
Please don't have to stroke out. I just hired you.
Oh.
I just got you back. Please don't die on me.
All right.
In the interest of a hypothetical, let's say Frost needed to be suspended. How does the outcome of this ACR, how do you foresee that? Do we?
Well, I mean, if it's the head of a department, there's no one to talk to about it. It's just something that you're gonna walk in, you're gonna kick open the door, and you're gonna say, "Hey guys, San Andreas State Marshals, Sheriff Frost, come with us. We need to have a talk." You know, like in the movies. You know, when the FBI kicks in the doors and they start doing stuff.
Black vans.
Yeah, sure. They roll up with a black van. A bunch of guys in suits get out. They raid the office. They're like, "SEC, you're under investigation for stock
I'm not gonna lie. I think you should bring back the days where judges rode shotgun raids.
Oh yeah, that'd be cool. I'd like to do that actually.
I don't mean literal shotgun. I mean, in the fucking, yes, you know what I'm saying? And like hands up, don't shoot, political observer type deal.
Have you, Angel? Have you been noted as, some of the things the state has asked us to do, and I've said no, not yet, please?
No, I don't think I know about their request from you.
Do you know about like black sites and black bagging?
No.
Hey, if they're Swedish,
yeah, we gotta
wait.
Point.
If they're Swedish, you're good to go on that.
I
talked to Davis earlier. Prez said that the Swedes have encroached on our political neutrality by putting up those flags and declaring this an embassy, and that any action need to be taken against them until they come to negotiating tables fair game. That's all.
Okay.
In regards to that comment, keep in mind I'm the one hitting the brakes right now.
on the
yeah,
okay.
There's a lot of things I don't think we're prepared for just yet.
Well, I would
watched
love to
Unthinkable last night. I'm prepared as shit.
Yeah.
You're ready for it, Crane?
You ever seen Unthinkable?
No, I haven't.
It's where Samuel Jackson plays an ex-CIA interrogator, paramilitary type who did shit so heinous that he had to go under their protection. He's like a hidden, like figureless guy. And super terrorist is going to nuke the U.S. in like 5 different sites. And it's the whole struggle of like ethics, morality. It's the train problem, but just with Samuel Jackson as the fucking interrogator, hell bent on getting the truth out of this guy any means necessary.
Need to
great
watch
movie.
that then. It sounds fun.
In the same area of we've been trying to figure out how to do things, right? It's a fresh new playbook. I'm sure the ACR probably felt very similar.
Yeah.
I've instructed as far as charging law enforcement, I think it should be done publicly rather than a immediate arrest and processing. Two reasons for this. One is they'd have to appeal it, which is an option. However, it would preclude the city from being involved in the process, right? Do y'all do you have any sort of opinion on that? Like,
Yeah. So
which of the two routes?
So there's a couple things on this that I've noticed. So one, we don't actually have any definitions for or requirements to on how we charge government employees. There's been this rumor that circulates quite often where people will say, "Well, I'm a government employee, so they can't just arrest me and throw me in jail."
No.
Well, it doesn't say that anywhere in the law, right? It's just a common courtesy that's been extended back and forth between the departments up to now. But there's no actual special protections codified anywhere. I don't necessarily feel strongly about it either way. I just do think that it does need to be codified to some degree because the confusion does lead some people to believing that they can't actually follow through on enforcing their duties as law enforcement officers without it being a lengthy process.
What I mean? We've been handling it more of a SOP. So I try to read the room, for lack of a better word, for the depending on the situation. Is there an immediate threat? Like if someone tried to kill someone in front of us, like that's an immediate arrest, right? However, if there is levels of non-clarity, like we don't have like actual, it depends on the situation, right? Because the suspension functionally does the same thing that an arrest and followed by an appeal would do. But I think y'all's opinion would be very useful in that because
I got you.
we can certainly we could certainly arrest right away, but I think, like I said, I think it could preclude things from occurring.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Get under control, Danielson. Not cool.
I'm sorry.
Control your
right.
temper.
Turn around for me.
Yeah, just go ahead.
How dare you, Daniel. I do have an opinion on it though.
Yeah. I'd like to hear it. There's things that we can do legally, but I'd like to,
I like things to make sense. Essentially, the process as a whole just has to, from start to finish, just come across as kind of neat or complete in some way. For law enforcement officers specifically, I think that suspending them while their charges are pending on the docket for them to have a full actual trial is better because. Let's be honest here. It's not every day that you're arresting a law enforcement officer. It's not every day that it is every day that they're committing crimes, but it's not every day that they're getting charged for it, right? Whereas law enforcement officers are expected and it's typical to be arresting dozens of criminals a day, majority of whom don't care to appeal because they know they did what they did and they're not going to fight it, right? So when it comes to police officers, majority of the time, they're going to want to fight it to some degree or they're just going to quit. And I think that as it stands right now, where you suspend them and then let them sit while their defense, while they can prepare their defense and the charges pen on the docket, it's just a really neat solution. And I don't know if it needs to change or not.
So you agree that it should be suspension followed by docket posting, right?
Yeah, I agree.
For the majority of situations, I would say the only time I would feel compelled we need to arrest someone immediately is say a marshal sees a very clear let's use a hypothetical who's not fired yet. Let's say Tommy Tinker goes and puts a gun in Sean's mouth, right?
Yeah.
And we witness this and it's very clear he walked in, put the gun in his mouth. There was no extraneating circumstances that could have caused that situation to happen. I would arrest him right then and there since he is potentially a ongoing threat, right?
I had a question.
Yeah.
Would you shoot him?
Not while he actively has a gun in his mouth.
No, I'm saying you saw it happen. Would you shoot him?
You mean after he's put the gun away?
Oh, I mean, like, you're standing there, you got a gun, he does the deed. Second later, you're like, you know, what is your next action?
I mean, arrest him? I'm not going to shoot him.
Okay, so you're not going to shoot him. Okay,
Yeah.
just asking.
I think it's really important that there's like some like if it's like a clear like direct crime that might have some like level of public safety concern to it, then it's totally fine to just go ahead and proceed with that. The question is, do we need to like actually write this down in the legislation somewhere, or could it just be expectation that's written down in our standards? And I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, I do think if someone is actively going around and demonstrating active harm potential to those people, there's no reason to play nice and to play coy, right?
Okay.
That's all I had to say on that matter. So
Yeah. I'm just taking it all in, and I'm actively thinking about the bomb threat that
what bomb threat?
oh, not right now, like earlier. Yeah. Maybe
bomb
later
threat?
this evening. Yeah. So on a completely separate matter, you guys got some new equipment on your roof.
What, on this roof?
No, just north of here. Let me show you.
Sure, yeah. Let me see.
All right. Today's been a hell of a doozy. So
When did that get installed?
Hi,
Hi, Springfield.
Hi.
How long have you been out
Hey.
here?
The entire time, because the
All
ride was
right.
my ride.
That's good. Let's go.
You guys
Come on,
have fun.
Springfield.
It's past my bedtime.
Oh, wait.
All right.
Actually,
Take care, Queen.
you, Angel, you, me, and Springfield got to have a chat just real quick.
Okay.
Just
I'll
before
catch
she
up with
turns
you
into a
later,
pumpkin.
Crane, okay? Sleep out.
Yep.
I'm just going out in the lobby.
All right.
All right. Okay.
I'll head back into my room.
Back to the secret room.
Yeah.
Sure.
Here we go.
Please say there's a swing.
Did
in
I
here.
open this? The hell?
No, I opened it.
Oh, okay. All right.
I snuck in behind you.
Thought it was like magic now. All right.
No.
Okay,
Come on.
so Springfield and I've already sort of discussed this. I don't think this is a huge thing, but I did want her to bring it to your attention in advance of her having a chat with Sean on the matter. As director, I don't particularly think this is hyper alarming, and however, I do think it is important to just kind of point it out in case you become aware that there might be more to this than there is, which there is no evidence
It's just
of.
a small red flag.
Yeah.
That popped up. Nothing like definitive or anything, right? It's just enough to make us ask a question.
Yeah.
So it's in relation to Cassandra Kate. Do you remember this magistrate who
I do,
ended up
yes.
getting removed for shooting cops?
Yeah, I was there when she got fired and got arrested.
Yeah. We were going back and checking things on what she'd done, right? And let me pull up my report so I get the accurate timeline here. It looks like on October 3rd, she had added some Japanese like an actual Japanese symbols to her MDT profile. The translation of which was blood for blood, honor is everything, from which we understand to be related to that Mirror Part street gang. I can't remember how to pronounce her name.
Kanashawa.
Starts with a K.
Kinda-
Kanashiwu.
I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think
Kanashiwu?
Jamarius Jamasis is the functioning leader at the moment.
Who the heck is that?
Jamarius
Jamarius?
Jamarius?
Jamarius? Who the hell is that? Never heard of a
No,
Jamarius Jamarius.
Johanna Jordan.
So I don't know either of those names, Brian.
The deputy mayor.
The deputy Joaquin Jimenez?
Yes, that one.
Oh, JJ.
Yeah, that one.
Hey, yeah, I'm familiar.
But anyway, so this little phrase from Kanasushi was added to her MDT profile on her own.
Mm-hmm.
And then on December 20th was when the shooting happened. And she was removed, and I removed her tags personally. On December 24th, it looks like Justice Danielson removed that phrase from her MDT profile with nothing else amended.
Yeah.
So we just
Interesting.
wanted to ask him why he removed that, which was like an indicator of her involvement with this criminal street gang, since
Okay.
nothing else was amended. Like, if it's one thing if it's just cleaned up, but there's also just a little red flag that pops up that
Yeah.
why was this little phrase removed just days after her termination?
Right. That is definitely a
Nothing
big
big.
question mark.
Yeah.
It's nothing big. It's just a concern that we want to bring up, just obviously because it just seems out of the ordinary.
Full transparency, Sean is probably in my own evaluation, the least likely corrupt justice after Faulkner. My evaluation, my personal opinion, I suspect he was probably just asked to remove this, or he removed it because it was perhaps unprofessional. I do think there's like a grander root issue, which I don't perceive being resolved anytime soon, which is, profiles can become MySpace nowadays, or whatever social media people use nowadays. It's put a meme photo up of someone, but then that also means investigators can't match faces, but or dispatchers putting in things, this, that, and the third. So
yeah, my profile's a mess.
Yeah, it's hard to sort of perceive what should be versus what shouldn't be and what intention could be. While simultaneously, we've had the archivist put things in. Maybe these are hidden messages. It's kind of hard to say, right? So I don't think we're looking at this as some sort of, beyond for what it is, but we are going to approach him to see, what the reason is in the event there is something more to this.
Yeah.
So,
and of course, this comes on the heels. I was made aware that you wanted us to look into the financials of the Department of Justice.
Yeah, that's correct.
And knowing that Danielson has been in charge of the financials was also like just a follow up on that.
Yeah.
I got you.
So,
well, listen, by all means, you can ask him whatever questions you want. I'm not going to be present probably for most of that. I'll let you do your own thing there, how you want to handle it and you want to proceed. But thank you for bringing it to my attention. I'd like to know what the outcome of it is, for sure.
Do you know when it was added? Was it before or after was it recent? Did we ever get that info?
When the phrase was added?
Yeah.
October 3rd. By her. That's in the report.
Did anything? Okay. All right.
Yeah, she added
could be nothing, could be
herself
something.
October
Hard
3rd.
to say, but all right, easy.
Yeah, it could be nothing, could be some. Well, let me know what you find out on that one. I want to say this much, Brian. I feel like it's actually important to tell you this, kind of in the same vein of topic conversation. I had a very large gathering of the judges, and there are some discussions, and there's a lot of people that are very upset that the trust in the institution has fallen so far, and that the actions of a few have painted so negatively on the many. And a lot of the judges are really interested in basically earning back the trust of local law enforcement and the marshals, and just basically building up the institution as a whole. And that's not just myself having an interest in doing that, but they also express that opinion. I think those who don't feel the same way are no longer under our employ, are very quickly going to be leaving out the door. With that being said, I would like to request I have access to reports in the same way that Falconer has.
You personally?
Yeah, because I don't.
Yeah, absolutely.
In this case, it's very frustrating for me to even access any of the reports, because pulling up on my docket and viewing the edit history requires me to give myself permissions to view them as so it's like it's a pain in the butt.
To give you some historicity.
Mm-hmm.
To give you some historicity here, remember that situation I brought up? The with the Ruby York and this and that, and
Yes.
justice came to us and said, "Hey, go
Where Gates
investigate
was
this,"
going
and
to
then
airports
there was a
and-
cover up and all this other fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
So in oh man, obviously we don't know when some people are doing some things because there are no breadcrumbs or whatever. Like, let me just rip
Yeah.
that bandage off. Like,
We lack the
evidence
forensic tools to
magically
investigate some
disappearing.
things.
Yeah,
Well, that's
so-
kind of where I was leading this conversation.
Well, so just so before we get so I actually removed all the justices' tags and only left it to Faulkner so that there was like 1 point of failure. So let's say like some like, yo, there might be, these are the secret codes to our nuclear thing. We know that if they got out, it would just be Faulkner, and it would remove the unfair situation where, local law enforcement is like, yo, the justices did this thing, right?
Yeah.
I can just go right to Faulkner and be like, hey, did anything happen with this? And we know who to go to. So in that same vein, I would love for you to have access, right?
Right.
Because I don't think it's fair for the justices and some of the shit that was being said, where they just point at them and say they did this thing, and they're leaning on the fact that they have access, but there's no evidence that they did anything wrong,
Yeah.
right? Like, it created a very toxic situation, and it was our way of saying, let's remove that. There's one person who has access. They're the only ones we need to worry about, right?
Well, let me say this, okay? The state obviously very much is interested in removing that level of influence, and how do I put this gently? So basically, we're going to be enforcing state-mandated monitoring devices on everyone's, tools and devices to make sure that there are state-sanctioned enforcement of ethics and non-corruption. If you're understanding what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're bringing back the cardinal sin thing.
Well, basically, but
Yeah.
more than that, where the state will be helping us enforce that standard, essentially, of making
Okay.
sure that judges are a non-corrupt entity.
So
So that
there are
is-
secret agents that are watching.
They're always watching your phones, our
Yeah.
text messages, our communications. That's right. Yep.
Oh my God, is this coming to high command too?
I don't think so. I was just for us.
Wait, so I'm doing the same
Why
thing, except, with less tools and just more. Oh man, hell yeah.
Yeah, so that. I think it's very important for the DOJ because we have so much power and authority over the way
Fuck.
that things go in the city. So
Why do they hate me?
who?
The secret society.
The secret society.
Why can't high command also do the same thing?
I don't know.
Then I can focus
mean-
on all the fun shit.
You could ask. Sweden.
Oh man. Oh,
Well,
man.
regardless, that's how things are going to be going for us. going
I'm
forward,
being
so-
sarcastic, by the way.
okay.
Yeah. I'm
He's
just
not.
no. I mean, I'm not being sarcastic. Well, I am being sarcastic. I obviously know that's not going to happen. I'm just,
He's being dramatic.
Thank you. Yeah, that's a better word. Oh, all right.
Does it sound good? Well, regardless, I would appreciate if I get that access. And could you show me that antenna you're talking about?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
All right.
I want to see it.
new thing.
I've got a lot of people very